Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time you're watching this video. I wanted to come on here and release uh, a dream that I had just a couple days ago, and I believe this dream would definitely help a lot of people. Um, so just listen to the dream. Okay. So in the dream, I was walking. No, I'm sorry. I was not walking down the street. I was driving and I was on my way home into my neighborhood. And I'm looking at these houses and I'm just like really admiring these houses. And I was saying, oh my goodness, like these houses are so beautiful. They're so beautiful. Oh my goodness. And it was houses on both sides of me. And um so as I'm looking at these houses, like I'm just like really admiring everything about this neighborhood. And I'm about to pull up into the driveway of my house. And before I can even pull up to the driveway of my house, I see that my garage door is completely broken. My garage door is completely broke. Um, my the house next door to me is their garage is completely broke. And when I say broke, I mean the garage is like completely missing. Like say if, this is the garage door. It's like in little pieces. It's like pieces of the garage still attached to the house. And so it was a car parked in the driveway of my the house next door to me. And in real life, no one lives in their house. And so I was looking at the house and saying to myself, like, oh my goodness, what happened to the house? What happened to the garage? Who broke the garage? What happened? And these were the only two houses that the garage was broken. And so when I noticed that it was a car in the driveway, I said, oh wow, so somebody moved in next door. And as I'm looking at this, like I'm just like really shocked, at what's going on. So then I say, okay, maybe this something just doesn't seem right to me. It just doesn't seem right to me. So what I did was I I got out the car and I looked at the address of the house next door to me. And when I looked at the address, I realized that that's not where I live. And then I looked at my address. I'm like, hold up. This is not where I live. And I began to pull off. And when I began to pull off, whoever moved in next door, they ended up in the car with me. And so by this point, we're about to pull off, and I'm no longer driving. And it was like I was in an Uber or Lyft, a cab or something. And I'm in the back seat with this couple. And as I'm in the back seat with the couple, um, I'm just making a video for my cousin. And while I was making this video for my cousin, the guy was sitting next to me and he was talking. And so as he's sitting there talking, um, I was kind of like trying to play like a little trick on my cousin. And I was, she was thinking like it was the Alexa that was talking or something. And so then I said to her, I said, no, it's not Alexa. I was just joking. And I said, meet my new neighbors. And so I show her my neighbors. And so the neighbors, they were not people that I would maybe usually like hang out with. And so they were more like what you would call them, gothic. And so I'm looking at them, and as I'm looking, um, they're like, "Hey, we're about to go somewhere. We want you to go with us," and da 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 da. And I'm like, well, where are we going? Where are you going? And they're like, don't worry, you're gonna like it. You're gonna really like it. Like it's gonna be a nice place. And I was just like, okay, but like in my mind, I'm still like, well, I want to know where am I going? Like where in the world am I going? And so we get to the car stops and it pulls up in back of a bus, and it reminded me of like a Greyhound bus. So we pull up into the back of the Greyhound bus, and when the guy gets out the car, he had this hat on. It reminded me of like Roman time, yeah, like back in Roman days. And the hat had it had the horns on it coming out like that. And so when I looked, I'm like, that's strange. I'm like, what in the world? What am I doing? And I remember asking myself that. So I ended up getting out the car, and the people, they were putting up our bags and stuff on the bus, and under the bus and everything, and all the people start getting on the bus, and so we're sitting on this bus and we're riding like through the city. And as we're riding through the city, all these other buses are coming through. And as the buses are coming through, I'm like, no, I don't belong on this bus. I need to get off. I need to get off this bus. I have to get off this bus driver. I need to get off. Where are we going? Where are we going? And then the bus driver and the couple that I came with, they were trying to tell me, to calm down, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to really enjoy where we're going. And I'm like, no, this is not right. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And so as all the buses are going past, I'm like, okay, well, let me, I figured, if I look at the what the buses say, then maybe I would, have an idea of where I'm going, or where I am, because like at this point I was kind of far away from home, and I really had no idea where I was. And so the buses and stuff was going past, and I started reading what the buses were saying, and I don't remember like what they were saying, but they had numbers on them and they had destinations. And so I'm looking at them. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound familiar. That doesn't look familiar. No, no, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And so then I heard the guy say something like, yeah, we're going to Manasseh. Another, no, it was somebody else on the bus. They say, yeah, we're going to Manasseh, another part of, no, they said another country. And then the guy that I came with, he said, no, it's not another country. We're going to another continent. And I said, continent? What in the world? I said, no, I got to get off this bus. I got to get off this bus. I got to get home to my kids. Like, I got a whole family at home. Like, I have to go. I got to go. And they just kept on, like, trying to tell me to calm down and everything was going to be fine. So I sat down for a few minutes and I'm like, no, I have to get off this bus. I have to. And I was so determined that I was going to get off this bus. So what I did was, no, so what happened was the bus driver ended up letting me get off the bus. And when the bus driver let me get off the bus, I ended up in the middle of nowhere. It was like a dirt road that I was on. And so I'm looking around and nothing looks familiar to me. Nothing at all looks familiar to me. So as I'm looking around, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so far away from home. I'm so far away from home. And I get off this bus, and I noticed that I'm holding a newborn baby in my arms, and the baby is wrapped up like really, really tight. And the face and the mouth and the nose of the baby is completely covered like with this cloth. And the baby is covered up, and it almost seems like it's winter or something like that, like how the baby was covered up. And so um as I am holding this baby, I began to cry out to God. I'm like, God, I need you. God, I need you. I need you. Lord, Where am I? I don't know where I'm going. I need to get back home. I need to get back home. And so I end up falling to the ground. And when I fell to the ground, I'm holding a baby. I'm holding a baby, and my face is inside of this dirt. My face is inside of this dirt, and I'm crying so hard from the pit of my stomach. And as I'm crying hard from the pit of my stomach, I'm like, oh God, you can you come get me? I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. And I remember having my phone, and I was like, okay, well, I can go ahead and call this person, and I can call that person. And then I realized, like, ex-boyfriends and yeah, like ex-boyfriends like started coming back to me. And when an ex-boyfriend started coming back to me, I was like, okay, yeah, I can call him because he has a phone. I mean, I'm sorry, not a phone. He has a car. He can come and get me. And so I'm making up all these. I'm trying to like put little pieces and stuff together so I can um get a plan together and get out of where I was at. But the thing was, it didn't matter where I was. Like, I could not pick up the phone and call anybody. I was thinking about calling my friends, calling my family, and I'm just like, I can't. Like, I was just like too distraught. I was too messed up, and it was almost like it was almost like God dried up all my resources. Like, even though I had that phone right there, I had the phone right there to call, to make the call. But the thing was, I was the people that I would have called would not have been able to locate me because I didn't know how far away from home I was, and I didn't know how close I was to home. So I did not know my location at all. And so as I'm crying out to God, and I'm just on this ground, and I'm crying and crying and crying. And as I'm doing this, a car pulls up. And when the car pulls up, a guy got out the car, and he yells my name, Malika. And he was behind me, and he called my name. And I set my head up from the ground, and I'm holding this baby. And I was just so shocked that he called my name, and he didn't even see my face. He only saw the back of my head, and I woke up. He only saw the back of my head, and I kept on thinking, oh my God, how did he know that it was me? How did he know that it was me? Like, he just saw me from the back of my head. I was so amazed. I was so amazed. All I could do was cry. But this is what I want to say. In the dream, I was distracted by these houses. I was distracted by these beautiful things around me. I was just admiring everything that was around me. And I never even thought to really pay attention to my surroundings and pay attention to where I was really going. Yes, just a minute. So I'm looking at all these things, and I was not even paying attention to what I was really supposed to be paying attention to. I was in the wrong neighborhood. The wrong neighborhood, and a place looked like my neighborhood. It looked like where I was supposed to be. And see, that's the thing. Your heart can deceive you. Your heart can deceive you. Jeremiah 17:9 says, the heart is more deceitful than all else and desperately sick. Your heart is wicked. Your heart will deceive you. Like it's almost like that's where my heart was. My heart was in this neighborhood because I was so focused on being in this beautiful place. I was just so focused on being in this beautiful place to the point that I didn't even realize I was at the wrong address. Then I had began to compromise. I began to compromise with the enemy. That's what I did. Oh, don't mind my baby. I am a mother, so yeah. But I began to compromise with the enemy. I let the enemy get in the car with me. I let the enemy get in the car with me and take me far out of my element. Take me into even further than what I was in. Even further place that I was in. And when I got to the other place and got on a bus, and the enemy just kept on saying, oh, you're going to love this place. You're going to love this place. You're going to love this place. It's going to be so nice. Don't worry. You know, I got you. Shh. That's how the enemy does us. The enemy takes us so far out of our element. The enemy will take us so far away from home. The enemy tries to seclude us. He tries to separate us from the presence of God. That's what the enemy does. He separates us from the presence of God. And we don't even realize how far we are from home. We don't even realize how far we are away from his presence, how far away we are from God until God opens up our eyes and show us, daughter, you're far away from home. You need to come back home. I need to reel you in. Come on back home. It's time to come back home. And I kept thinking in a dream, if I stay on this bus and go to where he's trying to take me, I will be even further away from home. And I probably wouldn't even be able to return. And the thought of that scared me. Shh. The thought of that scared me. And I said, no, I can't. I got to get off this bus. And when I got off the bus and I realized I had a baby, I was nurturing something I did not even know that I had. So this thing of me getting far away from God and getting far away from his presence, getting far away from home, it wasn't even so much about me, but it was about that baby that was inside of me. It's about that baby that's inside of you. It's not even so much about you, but you have a gift. God has given you a gift. God has given you that baby to nurture. You have a gift that you have to nurture. And if it's not in the right atmosphere, that baby can die. We was not in the right atmosphere for my baby to survive. We weren't. I didn't even realize I had a baby until I got off that bus. Until I came to myself. That's when I realized that I had a baby. That it was way more than the surface. It was deep. That thing was in me. It wasn't about me, but that thing was deep. But God is trying to warn his people and letting them know, hey, You got too far. You need to get off the bus. You need to get off that road with the enemy. Some people out here that's been accompanying the wrong people. You have been accompanying the wrong people, the wrong crowd, because you have not been paying attention. And it felt good in the beginning. It felt good in the beginning, but you kept on hearing that small, still voice saying, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. And that's God. God has been talking to you the whole time, but you really haven't been paying attention. So, God has been talking the whole time, but you have not been paying attention. Proverbs 14:12 says, there's a way unto man that seems right, but the end leads to destruction. The end leads to death. Everything that feels good, everything that's good, isn't always good for you. It isn't. Our heart will deceive us. And God is saying in the season, it's time to rend your heart unto me. Not your garments, but your heart. It's time to come back home. It's time to come back home. Time to come back to me. Time to get back into my presence like never before. Time to get back into my presence like never before. I hope you guys hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying in this season. Because so many people walked away. So many people walked away from the faith. So many people walked away from God. So many people walked away because and a lot of people have been distracted. A lot of people have been distracted, and the Lord showed me one day when I was praying. Recently I was praying, and the Lord gave me a vision. And in the vision, I saw myself standing there, and God was in front of me, directly in front of me. And on the side of him and behind him, it was all the cares of the world, all the distractions, all the chaos, everything was going on. And God was holding my hand like this. And as he was holding my hand, I was doing like this. I was looking all around him and trying to look behind him and trying to look as far as my eyes would take me, trying to look so far. But guess what? God never moved. God never moved. He never moved out of his position. Not once. He stayed in the same position, holding my hand tight. And I'm so busy looking around. I'm so busy looking around at what's going on, paying attention to everything else when the most important thing is in front of me, and that's the presence of God. And there's a lot of people that have been distracted, by the things that you're going through. that have been distracted by just life. The enemy will bring things your way. And when all those distractions come and the enemy can get you off of the path, out of the will of God, it's not a good thing. God is saying, I'm trying to reel you back in, daughter. You're going down the wrong path, and I'm still speaking in your ear. I never left. I'm still speaking in your ear. I'm speaking in your ear. Come back. Come back. You're on the wrong path. You're on the wrong path. You're with the wrong crowd. You're with the wrong crowd. Come back. Rend your heart to me. Come on. Rend your heart to me. Bring it back. Bring it back. That's what God is saying. Rend your heart to me, not your garments. It is your heart that I want, not your garments. Your heart means more to me than you know. Those garments are nothing. It is your heart that I want. It's your heart that I'm after. And God is saying, rend your heart to me, not your garments, and come back home. Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. Don't get on that bus with the enemy. Don't get distracted by what's going on outside of me. Don't get distracted by what's going on outside of me. Don't get distracted by what's going on outside of what me and you have, outside of this relationship. I don't care. Don't worry about what the people are saying about you. Don't worry about what's going on outside of what me and you have. What me and you have is special. Me and you have a thing going on. Me and you have a thing going on, and can't nobody come in. Don't allow nobody to come in and mess up what we have. Don't allow nobody to come in and speak into your ear. Don't allow nobody to come in and push you out of my face. Put your chin up. I want you to be focused. Stay focused on me. Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. It is I, says the Lord. It is I that will give you the desires of your heart. It is I that brought you into this world. It is I that created you. That's what God is saying. It is I that give you brand new mercies every day. Thank you, God. Don't let the distractions get you out of your place. Don't let the enemy fool you. That's what he did in my dream. He fooled me. All these people, they were going the same place. But God is saying, no, I'm trying to take you to another place. Don't try to blend in with the crowd. Don't try to go where everybody else is going, because guess what? That's not where I'm going to be. You need to be where I'm going to be. Yes, God said that he would never leave you nor forsake you, but don't you step outside of the will of God. You need to make sure that you are in the will of God. You're staying focused on him. Stay focused on what you guys have. What y'all have is special. Can't nobody come in and break that up. Can't nobody come in and tell you nothing bad about him. Because you already know what kind of God you serve. You already know what kind of man he is. You already know that he's not a liar. You already know. You already know. So the enemy can't come in and tell you, oh no, he's not going to do this. No, would God really do that for you? Guess what? You look the enemy right in his eyes I serve a God that is able. I serve a God that will do the impossible. What I can't do, my God will do. It is my God. He's my God. And we have this special bond. We have this special relationship. And can't nobody come in and tell me nothing bad about my man. That's mine. He belongs to me. He said, I'm the apple of his eyes. I am the apple of his eyes. You are the apple of his eyes. So don't let the enemy come in and try to fool you and try to distract you with, with the cares of the world and all these things that you got going on and all of that. You stay in his face. You stay in the face of God, no matter what. Because guess what? The world that we're living in, it's only going to get worse. We are living in some treacherous times. The days are getting shorter. Days are getting shorter. And the times that we are in, this is the time in the season that we have to make sure that we stay in the face of God no matter what may come our way. And I'm ministering to myself on today. No matter what comes my way, I'm going to serve God. I'm going to serve God. I am going to serve God. As for me and my house, I'm going to serve God. And I believe that even in that scripture when it says, as for me and my house, I'm going to serve God. I don't believe that it's talking about the actual house. Maybe you can take it as that. But guess what? On today, I'm taking this thing as my body, my mind. The enemy comes and distracts, and he tries to mess with the minds of the people. But I'm telling you on today, as for me and my house, I am going to serve God with all of my being. Thank you. My body, my mind, my soul. I'm going to serve the all-knowing, the all-seeing, the living God. God is not dead. He is alive. I'm going to serve him all the days of my life. All the days of my life. He is my God. He is righteous. He is merciful. He is a just God. He is wonderful. He is excellent. He's a supplier. God is the GPS. He is the one that will locate me. That's why even though I had that phone out there in the middle of nowhere, and I had I had no idea where I was at. I could have picked up the phone and called somebody, but God dried up. God dried up all them resources. I had the phone in my hand to do it. I had the phone. But God dried them resources up. He crumbled them things up. God had to get me to a place where I just solely depended on him. He had to get me to a place all by myself and to a point where the only person I could call on was him. He's the only person I could call on. And he had to humble me. I had to get to a place. I had to get to a place a place of brokenness, a place of humbleness, so that I can call on his name. A lot of times when we get into some trouble or we go through some things, the first person we call is, hey, Deborah. Hey, girl. Girl, let me tell you what's going on with me today. Oh, my goodness. I need some advice. Yes, girl. I need some advice, girl. God is like, no. I don't want you calling nobody up. I want to be your first. I want to be the first person you call. I need to be the first person you call. Because guess what? Deborah, Susie, Linda, all of them, they can't do nothing for you. It is I, because I'm the one that created you. I know what you need. It is me. It is me that know what you need. It is I that can give you the desires of your heart. Yes, God can use people to speak life into you or whatever. You know, God will do that. But guess what? There comes a time and a season and a place where you can't call on nobody else. God will get you by yourself. He will get you to yourself, and all you have is him. And that's where a lot of people are today. And you probably have been confused and trying to figure out, like, what's going on? Like, why is my phone not ringing off the hook? Like, why is nobody calling me? Like, how come I can't call nobody? That's because God is trying to get you to a quiet place. He's trying to get you to a quiet place where all you can call on is him. So God will dry up the resources. Yeah, God will, you know, all them people will come to your mind. But guess what? God is like, no, you can't use them in this season. You can't call on people in this season. I'm the one that you call on, so I will dry your resources up. I'm drying them up. You hear that crumble? You hear that? God is like, it's me. Call on me in this season. You're no longer a babe in Christ. You are now on solid foods. You're no longer on milk. No longer. And where you're going is not even so much about you. But guess what? It's about what's inside of you. It's about what's inside of you and the people that you have to minister to. The people that God wants you to reach. The nations that's inside of you. So I just wanted to release that. I didn't mean for the video to be this long. I didn't realize the video was going to be long like this. But I just did what the Lord told me to do. And you guys, in this season, yes, baby. Okay, go ahead. In this season, we have to be obedient to what God says for us to do. Get rid of all the distractions. Turn the TV off. Get off of social media. Whatever is that thing that's a distraction for you,